Welcome back to another lesson of Microsoft Excel. In this lesson, we are going to learn about if and IFS function. We're also going to use IFS with else function. Now, how do we use if function and what is if function? Well, the if function is one of the most popular functions in Excel, and it allows you to make logical comparisons between a value, what you expect. So an if statement can have two results. The first result is if you compare is true. The second, if you comparison is false. Now we already know what the if function is. Now let's learn about what ifs function is. Well, the ifs function checks whether one or more conditions are met and returns a value that corresponds to the first true condition. Ifs can take the first place of multiple nested if statement and is much easier to read with multiple conditions. Now let's just go off and use if function and how we can use if function. Now first thing we're going to do is get the status of this value. I'm going to type in equal, click on this, minus this value. Well, let's say I'm going to cut this off, this value minus this value. Hit on enter and there we go, we have the result. Now as we have the result, what I'm going to do is going to be using or making in our condition by these values. Now we're going to see if they are close to, let's say, 300. Now I'm going to type in equal. I'm going to type in if. Okay. Now we're going to put in our logical test. Now what is in our logical test? Okay. So in our logical test, we're going to put in two different things. First off, our, let's say, reference, which is our logical test. And then we're going to find out what type of value we want if it meets the certain condition. Now I'm going to click on this logical value, which is going to be over here, 345. Okay. Then I'm going to type in, let's say this is going to be greater than, okay, D2 is lesser than 400. Okay. Now if it is lesser than 400, I want it to say perfect. Okay. Close off the quotation and close it off with the parentheses. Hit on enter and there we go, it is perfect. I'm going to use this cell and there we go. But what if we say this is going to be 200? Hit on enter, then the answer will be false. Now even though this is like perfect, but these are false. Okay. Now what if we want a different value? Now if we want a different value, we have to put another, condition. We have to put in if with else. Now if we want to use if with else, we have to do something different. First off, let's click on this over here. I'm going to type in equal. I'm going to do the same thing if. I'm going to select the same thing. Let's say this one, lesser. Let's say 200. I'm going to do is close it off, put in a comma. Let's say I'm going to type in perfect. Then I'm going to do is close it off, close the parentheses off, comma, double quotation 2 times. After that, close with the parentheses, hit on enter, and there we go. We have our answer to be perfect, right? We're going to use the fill header, and there we go. As both of them are false, it's not giving us false. It is giving us this blank space because these are false. But this one is perfect, so this is giving us the answer. And this one we're going to do is remove it. So now you know how you can use if result with else. So as we've gotten in our if, let's just move on to our ifs function on how it works. From here, we're going to get our ifs result. Now, let's say instead of this, I'm going to do something different over here. I'm going to do is remove them. We don't need colors over here, okay? What we're going to do is going to be putting in specific stuff. So let's say I'm going to do is type in pizza. Let's say this one is going to be pasta. And this one is going to be rice. And the last one we're going to do is, let's say I'm going to put in sausage. What we're going to do is categorize these data by using the ifs function. Okay. Now I'm going to do is type in equal and I'm going to type in ifs. Now, just like I said, we're going to do is categorize data by using the ifs function. Now from here, what we're going to do is going to be clicking on our first one, which is pizza, right over here. Now I'm going to do is, let's say A2, which is right over here. A2 equal double quotation. If it says pizza, then what we're going to do, first off, I'm going to do is type in pizza. close it off, put in a comma, double quotation, and the value, if true, is going to be, let's say, Italian. Close the parentheses, or let's say close off the double quotation. I'm going to put in a comma. I'm going to do is type in A2 again. A2 equal, if it is, let's say, the next one is pasta. So I'm going to type in pasta. Double quotation. I'm put in comma. And I also want this to be Italian, okay? Italian. Double quotation. Comma. A2. And A2 equal double quotation. Then I'm going to put in rice. Double quotation, comma, double quotation. This is going to be Asian. Double quotation, comma, and then I'm going to do the last one, which is going to be A2 equal. Then the logical test value is going to be sausage, right? I'm going to do is type in SAUSAGE. Double quotation, comma, double quotation, let's say British. I'm going to double quotation, close it off. And after you're done, close the parentheses, hit on enter, and you can see pizza, it's Italian. I'm going to do the same thing over here. You can see now this is also Italian, this is Asian, and this is British. Now, what if I change rice over here? Hit on enter, and you can see this is also Asian. Now, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's say I'm going to type in pizza. You can see it is Italian. Now, I'm going to do is cut this off. I'm going to type in sausage. Now you know how the if function works in Microsoft Excel. Now, what if we want if with else? Okay, or IFS with else. We're going to do the same thing which we did on, let's say on if function. Now, what we're going to do is going to be putting in true on MISC. Let's say if I didn't put in a specific value. Now, I'm going to do is cut this one off. Let's say I'm going to type in coffee. You can see NA error appears up. I'm going to type in equal. And I'm going to type in the same thing. Let's say I'm going to copy this one over here. I'm going to copy this, Control C. I'm going to put the same thing over here. Let's say I'm going to type in equal and paste the same thing, but we're going to add a bit of stuff over here. I'm going to put in a comma inside of the bracket. Make sure to put it inside the bracket. Then I'm going to type in true. Okay. And after putting in true, put in another comma, and inside the double quotation, let's just type in whatever you want it to be. Let's say I'm going to type in no value. A double quotation, close it off, close the parentheses, hit on enter, press on yes, and there we go. I'm going to do is use the same value, and you can see if there is any NA error, it's going to show you no value instead of this error. So now you know how IFS function works, and also IFS with else. So hope you learned everything in this lesson, and if you felt like you didn't understand a part, please let us know and we will guide you through the whole process. In our next lesson, we're going to learn about IFS function with nested if.